This is Richard Flax at MoneyFarm, talking about some of the things that have caught our attention over the past day or so. On the macro side, we saw the Chinese economy decline in the first quarter of this year. That's the first reported decline for the last few decades, and reflects the extent of the shutdown that we saw in China in the first quarter. In the US, we've seen another jump in unemployment in the initial jobless claims numbers that come out weekly. But interestingly, the reported number was a little bit below the consensus that some financial market economists had been looking for. And that perhaps suggests that economists are beginning to come to grips with trying to forecast the scale of the decline in activity that we're seeing there. On the commodity side, we continue to see oil decline. The cuts that OPEC announced don't appear to have helped yet stabilize the market, and that reflects the extent of the drop in demand that we've seen over the past few months. It'll be interesting to see how oil producers deal with this, particularly as storage is becoming increasingly scarce. In the eurozone, the debate around the joint issuance of government bonds across the eurozone continues to rumble on. On the one side, you have, broadly speaking, the Dutch and the Germans who are opposed, and more or less everybody else in favour. The latest is a piece from the French president arguing that there really is no choice, and it does speak to some of the challenges that the eurozone faces. And even though we've seen a significant aid package announced, you know, the debate about the best way to address this crisis from a eurozone perspective is still ongoing. And finally, on a more positive note, we see some signs in the US that treatments or potential treatments for the coronavirus are moving forward. Some positive news overnight in terms of one particular treatment that has done apparently relatively well in early testing. It's still very early days, but when we think about the what needs to be in place for countries really to properly reopen, one of those things is generally viewed as being a vaccine or a proper treatment of some sort. And so progress on that front, even if it will take several more months, quarters, or perhaps even over a year, is something that financial markets will look at in a positive light. Thank you very much for joining us. I look forward to speaking to you again soon.